Hello students, welcome to this channel. Today we will discuss on teaching aptitude. Specifically, we will discuss on expected questions on teaching aptitude. Here, now I will discuss the question 6 to question 10. In the previous video, I have discussed from question 1 to question 5. So if you have not seen that video, please go and watch the video because all these are very much linked, and these questions may come in the next NET examination. So now let us start the video. The first question is here: a good teacher must be resourceful or autocratic, resourceful or participative, resourceful and authoritative, and resourceful and dominant. So we can easily cancel out first two options because if a teacher plays a autocratic role or dominant role, then the students will not be interested, because if there is a autocratic nature in the teacher, or if there is a dominance in the teacher nature of the teacher, then the student will not be interested to learn. So we can, to become a good teacher, the teacher must be resourceful. This is the precondition. Teacher must be resourceful, but teacher must not be autocratic or dominant. And another option is teacher is authoritative. Authoritative, we can also cancel the authoritative nature of the teacher, because, or we can also cancel the option C, because if a teacher is authoritative, then there is a authoritative nature, and teacher is authoritative means that teacher is not participating in the particular teaching. Just teacher is teaching teacher is just teaching or dictating something, and the teacher is not thinking that the students is learning or not. So if a teacher become a participant in nature, then the student will learn better, because in a participative nature, teacher is participating the whole process, and in the participative nature, it means that it also ensures that students are learning better, because here teacher is also considering the students ideas. Suppose a teacher, you are a teacher and you are teaching a class in a class, then if you dictate something authoritatively, or if you try to dominate students, or if you want to become autocratic, then students will not learn better. And if you tells them some topic, and or if you give them some topic, and if you motivate them to participate on the particular topic, then they learn better, because everybody or most of the students will try to participate in that discussion. So to become a good teacher, the resourcefulness is the precondition or necessary condition, and also the teacher must be participative. So now let us discuss the next question. Next question is on which one of the is the highest order of learning. Here we have to identify the highest order of learning. All the given options are very much related to the learning, but we have to identify the highest order. First option A is chain learning, B problem solving learning, C stimulus response learning, and D is condition reflex learning. All the learning are the it is obviously a process or a method of learning. Chain learning, you learn through chain system. In a stimulus response learning, there is a stimulus and you give response to the stimulus, and by giving responses and by taking stimulus you are learning. And there is also a condition reflex learning, but the most appropriate learning is the problem solving learning. In a problem solving learning, teacher or the structure of education is like this, that you as a teacher giving you as a teacher giving students some problem, and you are encouraging them to solve the problem by their own method or own process or own ideas. So when you are giving them the problem, and when you are motivating the students to solve the problem by themselves, then the students become more active, and they try to solve the problem by their own means. Okay, so that is why we can say that problem solving learning is the best method of learning here. Okay, and it is the highest order of learning. So now let us discuss the question 8. Next question: Next question is on which one of the following is the best method of teaching. So here is the also best method of teaching. So, there are few methods of teaching or four methods of teaching. All are the methods of teaching, but we have to identify the best method. Lecture method, it is a traditional approach. Lecture method is a traditional approach. Discussion method, it is a good method. Discussion here students participate more. And demonstration effort method, in a demonstration effort students generally demonstrate. It is, we can say that it is a one step further than the discussion method. In a discussion method students just discuss on particular topic, but in a demonstration method student demonstrate the particular thing. Suppose in a lab based subject or science oriented subject, students are experiment showing the experiment, his or her experiment. That is the one type of demonstration. And so it may be a very good, it may be a option. And last option is here question answer method. Question answer method is is also a traditional method, because question answer method is a very general method. So lecture method and question answer method, we can delete these two method easily. This may not cannot be a best method, because there are also these two are more best method than these two. Now we have to decide on the basis of from question on the basis of option B and option C. Option B is discussion method. Obviously, it is a good method, but if we take this option, that is option C, demonstration. In a demonstration effort, students are learning by themselves, and not they are not only learning, they are also showing their experiments, or they are demonstrating their ideas. So this will be the best option. Now let us discuss the next question. Question 9. Question 9 is which one of the following types of evaluation assesses the learning process? Assesses the learning process to provide the continuous feedback. To provide the continuous feedback to both teachers and students during instruction. So we have to identify the particular evaluation process. We have to identify the particular evaluation process where there is a feedback option. So there are four options: placement evaluation, formative evaluation, diagnostic evaluation, and summative evaluation. If we consider these four options, then we can easily delete first and last option, because in a placement evaluation there is no option of feedback. In a placement evaluation, there only just placement evaluation is target students to identify the particular student who is capable or not. For example, if you are giving the exam, particular NET exam, then NET will try to identify that you can answer the particular question, or you are eligible for particular job or assistant professor or not. So there is a placement type option, there is no feedback or there is no such types of things, and so we can delete it. And there is also another option, that is summative. Summative is a year end exam. So year end exam, in the summative test, basically summative test is known as the year ending exam or the annual exams. Here there is no process of feedback, only marks are given in the result. So and these summative test generally based on the whole last year, 1 year or half 6 month course. So we can also cancel it the summative exam, summative test. And there are two options: formative evaluation and diagnostic evaluation. We In a diagnostic evaluation, actually students can learn, the student can diagnose their problem, in which section they are doing good and which section they are doing best. But in a formative evaluation, students get appropriate feedback. Also, in diagnostic evaluation there is also feedback nature, but we have to decide one option from these two options. So now let us read the question again. The question is which one of the following types of evaluation assesses the learning process to provide continuous feedback. Continuous feedback to provide continuous feedback to both teachers and student. during their instruction. So when we are considering these circles, that is continuous instruction, feedback, so then the answer will be formative evaluation, because in a formative evaluation are such types of evaluation which are taken, or formative tests are generally taken during the course of time. In a summative tests are taken in the end of the course, but the formative tests are taken during the course, or during the period, during the course, during the total course. So in a formative test, basically there is a absence of feedback. When a students appear in a formative test, then students also learn that their mistakes, which mistakes they have done, and teacher, there has the option of teachers to identify that which area, in which area the student is weak, and teacher also able to identify that how how they can appear, how they can teach better, and where, in which areas they are doing well, or which areas they are not doing well, and which areas there is a need for improvement. So and the process is very much continuous, because it is a during a course of time there may be a various types of formative assessment. So when we are finally the option will be B, because there is in formative evaluation there is a formative evaluation actually continuous in nature, and there is a feedback, and it is taken during the instruction, during the course of time. Now let us see the next question. Next question is on a diagram speaks more than 1000 words. This is a very famous quote. A diagram speaks more than 1000 words. Now we have to decide that the statement means that the teacher should use diagram in teaching, speak more in the class, use teaching aids in the class, not speak too much. So we can easily cancel the last option, because not speak too much, it will not be the answer. Teacher will have to speak in the class, obviously, so we can delete it. And the option C is use teaching aids in the class. Obviously teacher will use teaching aids. There is no relation between teaching aids and 1000 word, sorry, teaching aids and diagram. Obviously there must be a teaching aid in the class. So there is nothing unique in this option, so we can delete this option also. And now there are two options, option A and option B. Option B is speak more and more in the class. So if a teacher speak more and more in the class, then also it may create problem, or it may create an information load in the class, so it may not be option also. Option C is use diagrams in the teaching. Option A will be the accurate option or right option, because here we are directly saying that use diagram. Teacher have to use diagram in the teaching process, because here the code is a diagram speaks more than words. So it means that teachers should use the diagram in the teaching process, because it has the power to speak than words. If a teacher, suppose a teacher say to the students, uh, uh, 5 minutes 6 minutes teacher say something to the students, then student obviously learn from the particular thing. But if a teacher show them a diagram, or a projector based, or a slide based something, or diagrams, or a teacher draw diagram on the blackboard, then the students will be much more interested to learn from that diagram. And so we can say that a diagram speaks more than word, and so that is why teacher must use diagram in teaching. uh, Now I am ending this video here. I will upload also another video on these topics. Please like, share and subscribe this channel, and please place a comment in the comment box, on and please share the channel. Again I am saying you that, because it is a very new channel, and it will motivate, if you subscribe and share this channel, it will motivate us to do more videos on this topic. Thank you for watching.